Hey guys, welcome into the video. This video is about protecting your corporate IT career as a conservative, or if you're living an alternative lifestyle. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about LGBTQ++, the alphabet soup that follows. I'm talking about RV or van living. If you choose to live in a van, or maybe it's not by choice, how can you protect yourself and maintain your source of income? And if you're a remote worker and you have a supplied laptop, you're even more at risk of being monitored. My general rule for safety here is to remember anything that you say near a computer is meant for public ears. If it's after hours, leave the laptop outside of your home or keep it in a back bedroom. I've heard stories of managers aware that their laptops are being monitored, so they keep the laptop in their car and it ends up getting stolen. So wherever you keep it after hours, keep it in a safe place but out of earshot. Cover up your webcam and both cameras on your phone with a webcam protector. These things are like $2 a piece, and you have a little slider on them, and you can just physically open up the camera when you need to use it. Laptops nowadays know your geolocation, so understand that anywhere you travel with your laptop can be recorded like a GPS tracking device. So if you're into marijuana, you smoke a little weed, and maybe on your way home you decide to stop by a pot shop with your laptop in your bag, well, you just told your employer that you possibly smoke weed. Okay. And the next topic here is to compartmentalize your online identities. This means you should have a distinct separation between work and personal and even hobbies. For example, say you give your personal email address to the HR department or a coworker, and it's a rather distinct email address like your first and last name, or a favorite handle of yours like flibtards85@gmail. And then say you use that email address to register an account on a forum, and you're just really spouting off your political views that are extreme, you know. Maybe you discuss how you're against illegals flooding into the country and getting onto the welfare system, or maybe you're correlating the high cost of rent in the Bay Area with the dwindling supply of resources due to the massive immigration influx. You know, such things are bigoted, of course, and you'd be a white supremacist according to the views of liberals in your HR department. So don't give them that easy Google search. Take it a step further. Don't even use Google. Use startpage.com as your search engine, or DuckDuckGo. Also, never use a profile picture you used at work. Google image search is a real thing, and the libtards are using it to dox, which means exposing your real world identity. They can take the image and then post it into the search engine for image search, and it's usually an effort to publicly shame you and cut off your source of income. So if you have to post a profile picture in a non-work related venue, either flip the image, change the hue, resize it, put some sort of image filter on it. Best off, don't even use any images that look similar to any image that you used for a work profile or one of your compartmentalized identities. Have multiple email addresses that don't identify your name. If you can, stay away from Google services. Use something like Proton Mail. Use different handles or aliases for the personas on the internet. As for choosing to live in an RV or van, don't be like me and park in your work parking lot. Park your van or RV a block or two away and then walk into work that way nobody can tie that vehicle to you. Don't shop near the area you work, lest someone see you near the vehicle. And after hours, leave the city that your company is located in when you're doing any shopping or you're parking for the night. Don't give your coworkers a ride. I've made this mistake. I was so excited to share my electronic projects like my solar, my sink, my fridge, and shower in this self-built RV, but they didn't recognize it as my hobby. What they saw was, ew, that's a scary van, you know? And I remember he said this joke like, is this going to be the last ride I ever take? You know, joking that this is like I'm a murderer or something like that. And I mean, I was a little disheartened and offended, but my advice here is don't share it with coworkers. In my experience, some people will think it's cool that you're living an alternative lifestyle, but it's just not worth the risk. It's best to share your excitement for your lifestyle with other friends that understand you through like meetup groups or YouTube buddies. If you live in an RV park like me, don't give out your real-world mailing address. Notice that HR wants your address on file. It starts from the application process. If you've heard any advice from HR recruiters on job searches, they say the first step they take is to eliminate applications. It's HR's duty when posting a job to weed out candidates the best that they can so that they can have a manageable number of candidates that they pass along to the hiring managers. At this stage of the game, you don't want to put anything out there that could possibly eliminate you. Think about it in today's job market. All these applications are digital, and it takes 5 seconds to double click on an address, copy and paste it into Google, and then boom, on the screen there's a picture of your house or your RV park, and they can make a snap judgment, and you just don't want to give them that easy opportunity or excuse to do that. It shouldn't be an issue, but my level of protection, I do everything I can to fit in, and that means obfuscating my address. The job market is tight, especially in the tech world. 75% of Silicon Valley employees right now are foreigners using either green cards or loopholes in the H-1B program, and they drive down wages and displace citizens. And there's also a culture war brewing targeting white men. They're actively disqualifying applicants based on skin color. And if you want to see examples of this, just look at the lawsuits against YouTube, also the internal memos that are going around at YouTube, and the candid feedback from some of these tech recruiters. So the point is, it's a tight job market, and you don't want to stand out. So my advice here on this little diatribe is to obfuscate your address. There are a number of post offices and mail forwarding services that you can use to not expose your physical address to would-be employers, or even while you're employed. As with VPN services, what's good changes with the wind, so I'll update the description of the video from time to time. Other general safety at work, not related to RV van life, but more in general common sense in today's day and age, would be to, number one, is to abstain from alcohol at work. You may say something that you regret. 1 beer can turn into 4 beers, so watch your limit because HR and your managers, they're watching. Drinking with coworkers outside of work, maybe after hours. It's a little safer, but always keep drinks to a minimum and don't get comfortable gossiping or disparaging against other coworkers. Keep your distance from females in the workplace. This is more relevant with the culture war brewing against white males right now. The hashtag #MeToo movement goes to show that the new standards for proof of sexual harassment is a redefinition of the words. It's been changed to mean making a woman feel uncomfortable with anything that you say. Me Too is a code word for zero tolerance, and that's the new standard for no evidence, just hearsay by a female. This applies to all industries of work, but especially in the tech world. Women, in my experience, women have a chip on their shoulder towards white guys, or what they're calling bros, as they call them in the tech world. Studies show that when giving women an equal opportunity to study in the STEM fields, they choose not to. But the new standard is now equal outcome, not equal opportunity, which means even though they haven't put the work in for studying, they now have privilege points as a protected class in the workplace. A lot of these junior programmer women can easily perceive that they're receiving discrimination due to their sex, but in actuality, they're still junior programmers, and they're learning the ropes, and they clash with the senior programmers, and they will take it as discrimination. And my advice here as a male is to never be alone with females at work. Always keep the door open in a conference room. Don't be in there private with a one-on-one with a female. Don't have friendly relationships outside of work with a female coworker. And that's especially true if you're going out for drinks. If you do go out for drinks, make sure it's with an equally mixed crowd of males and females, and make sure you're not sitting too close or you're out of earshot with the rest of the group. In my experience, any dispute will lead to the male being punished regardless of evidence, especially if it's a he said, she said, hearsay kind of thing. I've had a personal experience going out for drinks on my own and then getting on the train ride home and then bumping into a coworker. The coworker decides to sit next to me. Keep in mind, you're never off work property when it comes to coworker interactions. They can distort the events based on their feelings, and the only result to a male is harm to his career. Now, I think it would be prudent to avoid all coworkers, especially females when not in the office. You have to remember they're always making snap judgments, and it could be your van, what you're wearing, or if you look intoxicated, and they can use that to their advantage to take you down with gossip and HR as their weapon. I would even go as far as to say that if you're forced to be alone with a blue-haired female coworker, that you go as far as recording that conversation. You never know. It could be used as the last line of defense, and it could be worth the hassle, as long as you're not violating like privacy laws, I guess. But you never know. I mean, even with evidence these days, men are losing more and more of their rights as time goes by. But that's an entirely different political conversation. So I hope this has given you an intro into Paranoia 101, and you can take some of these learnings to protect yourself. The takeaway here is that you want to blend in with the crowd. You never want to step out of line with groupthink. I think the best advice here is keep your opinions for the voting booth. Keep looking the part of a corporate lemming, and keep your private life truly private. And as I said I would, I'll update the links in the description. And if you like the info I provided, please tell me so in a comment and share the video. You can also support my efforts by buying the products I mentioned in the links below. And remember guys, you've got a friend in Bayward. Thanks for watching.